Rosés are all the rage. Stay tuned, and I'm going to share some with you. Welcome to this week's episode. Yes, it's all about rosés. So apparently, it's not just that we like rosés, and the channel, we've done a lot of focusing on rosés. But according to Wine Spectator, rosé wines are skyrocketing in sales, and that's great. Because you know what? That means you have a chance to try even more rosés from all over the world. And this week, we're going to look at two wines that I think are great rosés on their own. Both of these I love so much that if you wanted to get a case of each one, I think you'd be fine. The rosés, we're going to look at one from Oregon, and then we're going to look at one from southern France, which is really where a lot of my favorite rosés are from. And then stay till the end, and I have one more rosé that's even a sparkling rosé. So stay tuned to that. This first rosé is from Oregon, from the Willamette Valley. And you may notice it has a lot of French writing on it. And that's because the winemaker, and he considers himself a farmer, is from southern France, back when he was a kid. So he makes some fantastic rosés. And you'll notice all the French words on the label, really nice. A nice rosé that you can serve for those people who maybe like red wines. I think this is a nice rosé that will kind of hit them in the right spot, and I think you'll enjoy it too. Refreshing. It's going to have a lot of the raspberry notes into it, some nice floral notes, nice medium bodied, medium acidity, just a delightful wine. It's interesting that this, well, remember it's from Oregon. So this wine, unlike the one that we're going to look at next from the Rhone Valley, this wine has a Riesling, and it has Chardonnay, and it has Pinot Blanc. Some different grapes. I'll put them all on our description box so you can see them. But a very nice different blend. And of course, you can know it has some Pinot Noir, which is what gives us that beautiful color. And of course, Pinot Noir in Oregon is just great. And this vintage is from 2018, and you know it turned out to be a wonderful year in Oregon. And you know, one thing we haven't talked a lot about on the show is kind of paying attention to vintages. Now, you don't have to, that's for sure, and I don't even pay that much attention to the vintages. But sometimes it's nice to know if maybe you're getting a gift for someone, or you're not sure about the wine, or you know you like the style from that certain year. Well, then it's kind of nice to pay attention to. But guess what? When you go to fine wine retailers, I picked this one up at Total Wine & More, you know, that's when they really come into play or are quite handy. Ask him or her, you know, I liked this wine. It was a 2016 or a 2012 or a 2010, whatever the case may be. And let them know about the style or why it is you liked it. And they can help you find wines that are sort of similar, that share that characteristic. It's one of the things that's so fascinating about wine. Think about it. Every year, same grapes, but the growing conditions can be absolutely different, and you get a whole different experience in the wine. It's going to be similar because they're very similar grapes. We talked about that before in our episodes, but the vintages I thought was a nice thing to talk about in this episode as we're looking at rosés for summer entertaining and just nice to have. The nice thing about rosés, like this one and this one, is they're so food friendly, great on their own, great with all sorts of grilled foods and lots of outdoor entertaining that we're going to be doing all summer long. So a fantastic wine. So look for this one, the Domaine Loubejac, and it is from the Willamette Valley in Oregon. Just a great find, about the $10 to $15 range, not too bad. There are some wines that you can find that are even more affordable, and those I have found from Trader Joe's, even in the, say, $5 to $8 range, and I'm going to be focusing more on those in some upcoming episodes. So, what a great wine from Oregon. So let's take a look at our second wine. Oh gosh, do I love the wines from southern France. And this one is a delight. It's called the Nages, and you notice the beautiful little picture of the hummingbird on it. So it's translated to mean to gather nectar, which of course I wait all year long for the hummingbirds in my yard to come to the feeder, and it's a wonderful sight every summer. This rosé is what I'm going to call a classic rosé. That is, it uses Grenache and Syrah. And you may have heard of those grapes before. We featured them on our show, and we're going to feature more of those because this is the time of year I just love the Grenache, Syrah, and even Mourvedre blends from southern France, but the rosés in particular. This is a rosé that you can pick up at Total Wine & More. I bet you can find it at some other locations too. Let them know you want to try a southern French rosé. Boy, when this one's chilled and you have pizza and grilled food and some wonderful grilled artichokes and all sorts of the summer foods that we enjoy, you know, the rosés are a fantastic value. Not too affordable. I think they really help bridge the gap between people who like white wine, but they're not sure about red wine and vice versa. The rosés are just that middle of the road. They make both parties very happy. So if the white wine drinkers and the red wine drinkers can come to agreement on rosés. And I've tried it a few times with our friends over, and they just absolutely adore rosés now, like we have for many years. So I'm glad that rosés are catching on in our country, and we realize how wonderful these are. So we're going to be looking at some wines, rosé wines from Spain and from Italy and from South Africa because the rosés are just exploding, and that's great. It's one of the trends that I'm very happy about. So this winemaker, it's a fourth generation family winemaker. It's all family owned, and they do a lot of things by hand. It's very good quality. They seem like wonderful people. I'll put their website down below that you can read more about how long they've been around and how they treat the land and the grapes. And it's just a really nice story. So a very nice wine. Both of these wines are going to remind you of lots of bright red fruits and raspberries and strawberries. They're not tannic. They're going to have some nice acidity, nice body. They won't get in the way of anything. They're great on their own, but they're even better with food. So I think look for the little hummingbird, and I think you're going to be very pleased with our French rosé. So I promised you a third wine, and I found a great one for you. So this is a sparkling wine to go with our rosé collection that we've looked at today. One from Oregon, one from France, and now this one's from Spain. So it's a cava, which if you've seen some of my other episodes, I'll put the links below where we talk about how cava is very much like a French champagne, just with different grapes. And this one is 100% the Trépat grape. Very unique, very different from what we have probably never tasted before, and it's a real delight. So fresh strawberries and raspberries. This is a delightful rosé that if you want something maybe a little bit more festive and it's not too expensive, it's just a delight. And right around the, say, the $10 to $15 range. I thoroughly enjoy the wines in Spain, especially the cavas. What a great find. So this wine is going to be great with those appetizers. I would definitely serve it with salmon and with other grilled seafood and a lot of vegetables. Again, for entertaining, you just can't really lose with a sparkling rosé. And then this one is from Spain, and I think it's going to be great for those guests or friends who, you know, they like red wine, they like white wine, maybe a little bit of both, as we were talking about with the other rosés. Just a fantastic find. So I'm very happy about this one. I'll put all the information below. Again, thank you for being such loyal subscribers. I sure appreciate all your support. If you have any questions about the rosés we looked at, let me know. And I think you want to see more about rosés, and I can't wait to do some more research for you on rosés because what a great wine all summer long, really all year long, but rosés just stand out in the summer. And I think you're not going to be disappointed with any one of these wines. So all this talk about wine, and especially all these rosés, sure makes me thirsty. So until next week's episode, everyone, cheers.